Good morning. This is your Monday morning coffee talk, and I am your host, Clarissa Diaz. So today we have a very, very special guest, and actually I get the pleasure of working with her since like the last 5 years, I feel like, or actually a little bit more. But she is our manager at our North Naperville location, and her name is Andrea. So welcome, Andrea, everybody.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, Clarissa and Chris.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So today, Andrea, we're going to kind of pick your brain a little bit about managing and like what it looks like for leadership and like with your staff and your team at the Naperville location, what you guys strive for, how you guys work together, some advice for people who want to get into the hair industry, just because, you know, like you coach them, you are day-to-day with them, so you see it from the start to finish, and you help part of their journey, like helping them be successful. So I wanted you to share a little bit with our viewers as well. And then just a little bit about your culture at the Naperville location, and then I guess like the culture within the company as well.
Sure.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I'm sort of interested. Let's start it with, how did Andrea get into the business and why?
Ooh, into the beauty industry as a
Correct.
whole?
Beauty industry.
Well, actually, I've always loved doing hair since I was little. My mom, she was friends with a stylist, two stylists, Magda and Diana, and they own a salon in Joliet, like on the east side of Joliet area. And we would go in every so often and get our hair done, and I had the bowl haircut that nobody wanted. But sometimes they would watch us. So they would watch us, and we would just kind of hang out in the salon area. We were friends with their daughter. And it was a lot of fun. It was just fun just growing up in that environment, and I would always just go home and play in the bathroom and do my hair and come up with like a whole bunch of different hairstyles. Ever since then, I've always loved doing hair, and I was just that person that, let me do your hair for homecoming, let me do your hair for school dances.
That's how you get started, too.
Yeah, that's how you got started. And it was just something I always wanted to do. So yeah, my plan was to go to college first and then go to beauty school. Life happened, little things happened, so then, big things happened.
Needed money?
No, more my son. Yeah. More my son, yeah.
I mean, she looks like she's 20-some years old, but she has a
15. He'll be 16 in May. Yeah, so he'll be 16 in May. So big things happened, my child. Yeah. And I paused on college. I did do some college, and then I went to beauty school. And from there, the passion has just been with me forever. So
honestly,
yeah.
You really do breathe it. As a manager,
thank you.
You truly do breathe it, which I love that too, because obviously I do hair as well. Mm-hmm. So it's nice that the staff and the team gets that as well from you too.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank
you're
you.
welcome.
Yeah.
How did you come to like Frank Gironda then? Like after you decided to go into beauty school, what happened? How did you come to Frank Gironda?
Well, Chris and maybe Jean, I believe Emily as well, she was one of the old managers at the Wheaton location, came to a career fair at the Salon Professional Academy. And you guys were just going over everything that Frank Gironda had to offer. And my beauty school teacher at that time actually set up tours to visit your salon. So, and kind of just to bring it back, I went to the Salon Professional Academy in Shorewood, and it's a Redken-based school. So I knew that Frank Gironda offered Redken education, continuing education. They used a Redken product. So I felt comfortable with everything that I learned in school to start a career at Frank Gironda. Awesome. So when I did visit, I visit the Route 59 location as a salon tour. And actually, I saw somebody blow drying their own hair at the station, and I was just so fascinated by it. I was like, God, how did she get her hair so like voluptuous and nice and, you know, tons of volume? And she was doing it on her own. And from what I was learning in beauty school, we weren't quite there yet. And I wanted to get there. Yeah. So just by seeing that, and then the dispense area looked like heaven at the time. And when you just see like a whole bunch of color everywhere, and the salon was just very upbeat, and I wanted to work there. So actually, before I had an interview at Frank Gironda Salon, I had an interview at Export Fitness. and
Their salon?
when they had their
Yeah.
salon there, and I wanted to do like Zumba teaching, like be a Zumba teacher plus a hairstylist, but that didn't go as planned. That did not go as planned. So now I'm here. I started at Frank Gironda Salon as a hairstylist.
So how long
yes.
were you a hairstylist before you got into managing?
Managing. So I was a hairstylist for about 4.5, almost 5 years.
Okay.
And then I, at that time, my parents, they wanted to retire and move to Florida. And at that time, I was still young. I was just getting started at my career as a hairstylist. And at the time, the assistant program was 2 years.
And you were going to move, right?
Oh, I didn't
Thought
want
about
to
it.
move. Yes, I did
do
not.
remember that.
Yes, I did not want to
Yeah.
move, but at that time I was relying on my parents.
What about now? Would you move to Florida now? I mean, you tired of the cold?
Well, yeah, I am tired of the cold. I'm freezing right now. Yes. But yes, I do love nice weather and not the gloominess here in Illinois. Yes, yes. I forgot where I was at. Where
No,
were we
so you
saying?
were-
So yes.
You were a stylist, and then you
Yes.
went
Yes.
back to...
Oh yes, my parents, they wanted to move to Florida, and at that time it was like, you need to be ready. Like, you need to be ready to either pick up and leave and go to Florida with them, or be ready to be on my own. And at that time I decided I didn't want to give up on the beauty industry, but I felt like I needed something like quick. So I went back to school and I got my educator's license. So I got my educator's license and I was working part-time at the salon as a hairstylist. And from there, I was offered a position at the Salon Professional Academy to teach, which is where I first started as a student. So I went to the Salon Professional Academy. It was right across the street from my parents' house. So it was very convenient. And at that time, I was a little bit closer to family, and my son was just going through a lot of things at that time. So it made sense. So I went that route, and I was always in the beauty schools as a teacher, and then moved up to an admissions advisor from there. So yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then, if I remember, correct me. Mm-hmm. I had a manager at my 75th location that was leaving, and the first person I thought of was Andrea. And I knew she was working somewhere, so I didn't want to totally step on toes, but I did call you and ask you, correct?
You did.
And offered
You did.
I'm like, is this something you're interested in?
Stole you.
Yes, yes. So I was not planning on leaving when I was at my previous job, but when you called me, I was like, how could I not? It was something like I've always wanted to. I considered opening my own salon. That was something that I wanted to do in the future, and being able to just learn how to manage a salon, I felt like would have been in that pathway, you know, like taking that next step. And when you called me, I was like, yes, let's do it. I was like, let's do it. And I feel like, I don't know. Okay, I feel like that was supposed to happen because I don't know if you remember, but when I was working at the Salon Professional Academy, they wanted to sell the beauty school.
Yes.
And that's when I was an admissions advisor.
Yes.
And I think I talked to you on the phone.
Yes.
And I was like, Chris, if you buy the salon, I will stay. But if not,
We did look into it.
oh, I'm sorry. If you buy the school, I will stay. And if not, I ended up leaving.
Then
So yes.
that was like everything the chips fell where they needed
Yeah,
to
they
fall.
needed
Yeah.
to fall, and it
Yeah.
worked out great.
Yeah,
I have a question for
absolutely.
you. So, was it hard when you came back to the salon because you worked in the salon, and now all of a sudden you're the manager?
Yeah,
the
to get
respect.
that respect.
How did that
it's
go?
difficult
Quick
at
response to how did that go?
Yes. So I thought about that. And I think we talked
We
about
talked
it too.
about it.
We definitely talked about it before.
Because I truly believe, when you
Mm-hmm.
become a manager, you cross that line, all of a sudden everything changes.
Yeah.
It's never the same. Now all of a sudden, what? Wait a minute, you're the one calling everybody out. You're the one keeping everybody accountable.
You know what you go through? Like, I can speak for myself, I don't know about you, but it's kind of like a hazing phase. It's like the college years of hazing phase, and then you have to prove yourself, and you have to get them to trust you and your vision and your goals for them, and then they're like, okay, we're on the same page.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think that was a huge transition. Like in the beginning, I was a little nervous but excited. I was more excited than nervous, only because they knew me like at that time when I was transitioning to management, they knew me maybe 5-6 years before that as a hairstylist. So they knew like the younger version of me. And even though 5-6 years doesn't sound like a lot, it was during a lot has changed, and I definitely transitioned to a different, more mature version of myself, if that makes sense. And have I felt like I knew I can bring a lot to the table, and everybody at 75th was very supportive. I think because I already had a relationship with them, everybody was very supportive of supporting me as their new manager.
Well, they're a little more comfortable.
Yeah, they're more comfortable. And
well, and I will say this too. I think that you've always just been the type of person, because I've known you for a long time. I think when you started with the company, I was like, I was a stylist as well. I don't know if I was like in the program, but our paths crossed a couple times. But you've always been extremely just passionate about the industry. You love the hair salon. I mean, you love the hair industry, and like the way you speak about it, the way your eyes light up about it, and it's like, no, it's a blessing. And I think that when you are a leader of a team, and obviously in the hair industry, you have to reflect that so that they feel that too. So I just think that you're a great leader for your team as well.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So bouncing off that, what's like a typical day in the salon for you? And I know it can be.
It depends what day it is. Is it a Monday? Is it a Friday? Did something happen? You know,
Yeah,
it really depends,
every
right?
day is different.
Yeah.
Every day is
Keeps you on your
different.
toes.
There is no typical day in the salon at 75th. Every day is different. Like it's like everything is structured. I'm more of like a structured person, so I have to try and structure out my week, but it never goes as planned. Mondays, like usually as soon as I get in, I'm printing out reports, seeing like where the retail, where the numbers were last week. I'm printing out the entire team's report. And printing out their numbers at where they're currently at as far as like services and retail, and then writing down personal notes on it's the MA200 from Mevo, if you guys don't know. But I'll write down specific notes on there, like, you know, you need $20 more until you hit your retail or
so
whatnot.
You're the type of manager that has, like, maybe before the stylist comes in, you have like a game plan
for the week
for them.
Yes,
which is really nice. Like, I feel like it's a consulting. Like, you're kind of, yes, you manage your team, but then you also consult them at the same time as well.
100%.
That's awesome.
And yeah, I feel like especially if someone has goals, you know, not everybody looks at them weekly or daily. So, and maybe we may not be able to meet for 30 minutes weekly because they're busy. So I would like to just write everything out for them, place it on their station so they see it as soon as they come in. So, and then, you know, I'll schedule some time in there like to do some coaching, but as long as I have that done, it sets me up for the week because I know
them up for success as well.
Yes. So that's like how I start off the week.
Question for what's like the challenges and the rewards, like in your day. I mean, what rewards you when you see in the salon? Is it like, you know, example, stylist growing? Is it, you know?
Yeah, I think stylist growing for sure. Sometimes when you coach, people get defensive. People don't want to coach, and they're like, "Oh, I can't do it." Sometimes they're a little hard on themselves, and then all of a sudden they're being acknowledged at our yearly meeting for hitting 13 grand plus over their services, and I'm like, "Oh, yes, that's what I wanted." Also recently, like just, you know, if somebody needs help with like their technical skills, if they need help, my foils are falling, or can you help me just get graduation out of my one length haircut, little things like that. I like helping. I like, like, hey, let's step aside really quick, show me what you're doing, and then helping them with those little technical things. Then all of a sudden, they take it and they apply it behind the chair, and I'm like, yes, they did it. That's a small
It's
teaching in
exciting.
me
It's
that I still
exciting
like.
to see
Yeah.
them,
Yes.
you know, buy a house or grow in their
Yeah.
Yes.
sales and
Or
all
like
that.
Yes.
even so, like even when the young girls start out, I always say that there's like this phase that they go through, and maybe it's the mother in us that we like see this, but
Not with me.
okay, the father. Well, listen, everybody knows dads are a little bit more lenient than moms. All right, let's be
Okay.
honest here. No, I'm just kidding, but just kidding.
That's true.
Okay, see? We have it on camera. We have it on everything now. It's on speaker. But no, what I was going to say is that it's funny when they start. Some of the young girls, when they start, right, it takes them a couple years to get their footing in and to have a system of themselves. Because I don't know if they're really, they understand it's a career, but they're still maybe living at home, or they don't, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of a little bit more like, oh, I come and go, I do my thing, and then, you know, I leave. But that there's a turning point, and it usually happens, it depends what age, but I usually see it between 24 and 26, 27-ish, where they start to turn, where they start to look at it like, this is my career. Like, I want to go move out. I want to rent an apartment. I want to buy a car. I want to do this. I want to do that. And then I'm like, all right, game on. Like, this is where it gets good. Because now this is where I, as a manager and, you know, a team leader as well, I can put my best foot forward, being like, all right, this is how you're going to do it. A, B, C. It's kind of like, it's like great too, because like when they win, like you're so happy for them because they didn't believe in themselves like you believed in them at some point. So it was really cool. And like, I think you're a huge cheerleader for everybody. I've always said that. I love working with you, Andrea. So
Thank you,
yeah,
Carissa.
you're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, I try. I feel like management has to keep that positivity
You
and like
do.
that energy
You do.
up. You
Correct.
have to.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the industry, you know, has its challenges. I mean, you know, we have a great management team, and I feel we all want it for everybody. You know, and there's ups and downs. You know, we get a little frustrated sometimes because we want you to want it more. You know, and that's our goal. And I feel like all of our managers want it for them. Sometimes I'm going to say, be a little honest here, a little bit more than they want it.
Yeah.
Because they don't understand it
Yeah.
yet. But, you know, it's funny when you guys are talking about the age thing. You know, like 26, health insurance.
Well,
Yeah.
oh,
There
I
becomes
always
the
say-
issue.
I
All of a
always-
sudden-
Get ready to do
Yeah.
health insurance.
I
gotta be an
That's-
adult.
I always definitely say that. Like, I always used to joke around. You're not an adult until your parents tell you you're off the health insurance. That's when it gets real. And then you're like, wait a minute, this money's coming out. This is how much money the state's taking out. Da, 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 da. Yeah, it's like, it's different.
Yeah.
It's a different playing field then. Like, what would you say one thing for your team that you want to cultivate that makes you guys a successful location and a successful team? Like, your customer experience, like what, I mean, do you guys have powwows? Like, what does that look like? Because every location is different, every manager is different too.
I would say our customer experience, and because a lot of the stylists that we have at 75th have been there for 5+ years. Longevity wise, I feel like we have a very low turnover at 75th. Everybody, for the most part, gets along. We're a family, so there's always little things,
Were there
you know,
little-
yes. There's little things here and there, but other than that, like the culture, the energy between everybody gets along and they're there for each other.
Yeah.
But it shows with the clients too. So like the clients, we have some
off
clients
it.
that come in every Friday, every Monday, every other Friday, or on Saturdays. And Sherry Roberts, we love you, Sherry. We have Diana too, and everybody who comes in, Princess, we call her Princess Diana, Queen Diana, everything.
I love that.
And everything just, I just feel like when you have that family-oriented feel just at the salon, it shows with the clients too. So yes,
I feel very valued too.
yeah, for sure.
I love when people come in and they're like, when I step foot, it's just a really good energy. And
Yeah.
I'm like, that's what I think anybody, you know, especially nowadays, wants to feel when they go into anywhere. So
Yeah.
that's great too.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Tell us, like, what are like the most, like, there's a lot of things that have happened within the, you know, few years that you've been managing as well. Like, do you have a story that's like incredible that you're like, I'll never forget?
A success story,
Yeah.
anything.
Success story.
that-
Yeah. Or like even a bad one.
Okay, so like one of like a successful story that I have from working in the salon, I have an unsuccessful or just kind of a scary memory and a good memory. So one of the scary memories is during 2020. So I think that was scary for everybody, right, during that time, because nobody knew what was going to happen and it was the unknown. So at that time, I had just started at Frank Gironda Salon and I was maybe 2 months in as a manager. And Chris calls me saying, "Hey, Andrea, we got to shut down the salon." And I'm like, "What do you mean? What's going on?" Because I just started. And yeah, it was just a lot of questions that were unknown at that time. And staff is asking me a whole lot of questions, like about pay, how long are we going to be closed for, and a lot of things that I just didn't know at that time, and we didn't know. We didn't know because it was something that nobody's ever experienced before. But at that time, it felt like your entire world is ending. It felt like everything that you worked for was just crumbling into pieces, like in front of you, right? And I had my own place at that time, living on my own, and it's scary. It's scary to think that without having income, what's going to happen, right? So at that time, that was the scariest thing that has ever happened. But in the end, I would say like a success story is look at where we're at now, the salon. Mm-hmm. And the salon rebuilt itself. And at that time, all of the questions that everybody had, in the end, everything ended up unfolding the way that it was supposed to be, and there was help provided at that time. And everybody was able to get through it. And where we're at now, the beauty industry is always, kind of up and down, and we're still climbing. We're still trying to get through. So yeah.
It goes back to that whole saying, sometimes when things fall apart, it's because the best is yet to come.
Yes.
It's hard, and those break us, but in the big picture, those also bring a lot of blessings too.
Yes. We're still standing.
Perfect. All right, we will be back.
Standing. You know that?
Yeah.
Still standing.